The market's looking ahead to the election and the Fed's policy meeting later this week. For insights on that, and on how the banking sector could fare under Trump or Harris, let's bring in Bob Diamond, CEO of Atlas Merchant Capital, former CEO of Barclays, someone who probably had a pretty good view of the entire financial crisis and what was happening back then. You had a pretty good seat, maybe too good of a seat.
It was a seat.
For all those things. Let's start with macro, though, in the Fed. So, markets are at highs. Economy, Friday, I don't know what that was, but it had been percolating pretty well in terms of GDP and everything else. Weird time to be cutting after we worked so hard to get off the snide at zero and to get it back up there. Maybe it made sense if we're too tight. But the backdrop to all of that is $37 trillion total debt, and running up a deficit this year where we don't need to do it this year with what's happening of $2 trillion. What's it all mean in terms of just the overall environment, Bob? Are we on the precipice of something, or we got the reserve currency of the world? What me worry? Yeah,
I think you hit a lot of nail on the head, but particularly around the debt levels. And I think I've been talking about this for a while as I'm invited to come on, but I think kind of the cloud on the horizon, one of the few clouds for the economy, because frankly, it's been a great recovery of this economy, or the kind of soft landing. But the 37 trillion, and if you look at that, when former President Trump was inaugurated, it was about half of that. So between the Trump administration and the Biden administration, we've doubled the debt, and it's hard to say that was a difficult economy that needed that stimulus, other than around COVID.
Right.
I don't think either of the presidential candidates are going to do anything other than continue to increase the debt level. So I would agree with you. That's the biggest kind of cloud on the horizon. My view of the impact is it's beginning to be talked about a little bit more. And I think when we look at interest rates, wherever that Fed funds rate is, I think the steepness of the curve to the 10s and the 30s, if you look out over the next few years, is going to continue to steepen.
Let's break down banks into, the ones that we talk about when they report earnings and we get all breathless about, the big banks. And then you got everybody else, all the regional banks and the small banks. When the smaller banks and regional banks will probably use a consolidation cycle, which is, would you acknowledge it's been more difficult under the Biden and Harris administration than the previous Trump administration, or not?
Yeah, and I think it will be, if you look at the difference of the two candidates, I think under a Republican administration, it's going to be more pro-consolidation, easier from a regulatory point of view, and I think under a Democratic candidate, it will be more difficult. And I say that, Joe, you know my view on this. I'm kind of talking my book. But I think one of the best investment opportunities in financial services that I've seen in my career is the opportunity to take part in the consolidation of the 4,500 regional.
Too many banks, right?
But the key is they're important. They're really important. If you look at small businesses and family-owned businesses,
right? It's weird because you're a Kamala bro, are you not?
So I was going to say, you not only has
he signed a letter, I know,
Kamala Harris, he was part of that article.
That's what I mean.
That we talked about last week with Doug Parker, Jeff Sonnenfeld, saying we led some of America's largest companies. Here's why we're voting for Harris, not Trump.
Yep.
So
led's the operative term.
But I think on this specific issue, Andrew, it's very hard not to be clear that the attitude toward
100%. I'm just trying to understand. I'm trying to understand your position.
Well, I was specifically relating that to kind of the attitude toward consolidation in regional and community.
Totally, but I guess what I'm asking is, you appear to be willing to either do something almost against your own business interests if you believe that consolidation is needed and you could participate in that, if in fact you want to vote for her. And so I'm trying to understand why you're voting for her.
A lifelong Democrat. That's for starters.
No, I'm a lifelong Republican until the first Trump administration. I had never voted Democrat in a presidential election.
I voted for Jimmy Carter.
I just think the risks are too high. That's all.
Right. More than in the first Trump administration.
Probably. Yeah.
Geopolitical?
I think The Economist wrote
or?
a very good article last week about the difference between the first term and this term.
The Journal has weighed in on that too. That it would go from the Reagan plan to the Oprah plan in terms of giveaways and tax breaks for everyone and tariffs and all the other things. But then we always have that argument about, or at least debate about what's negotiating and what's really in the cards. And then we have on the other side, what did Vice President Harris, which of the previous statements she's made about a lot of different issues does she still believe in, and which does she not believe in anymore? So it's very strange that both sides are like, a lot of times both sides, proponents are distancing themselves from the actual policies and saying, well, it's not going to happen.
But the biggest challenge, I think, for all of us is the vast majority of people are not going, this is the best candidate I've ever seen. So, this is not the situation that we want to be in.
On
both sides,
people are voting against the other candidate. It's crazy.
But explain to me just what your perspective is on this, because you sort of said, well, all I think is it's just too high risk, and that's my only view. But is there more to it than that?
Yeah, I think. I
saw you wrote this article, so I feel like there's probably more to what you're saying.
I think the attitude toward tariffs is an example. If you take kind of the middle case of tariffs, we're back to 1935. I think that's a negative. But most importantly, I find it surprising myself that people will be voting based on the fact that he's not really going to do what he says.
Both sides.
I mean, that's.
And she's not going to do all those horrible things.
So on the balance of things, I'm definitely a supporter of the Democratic candidate. I think it's somewhat balanced. Most of us are having difficult decisions. On the regulatory side, as we said, I think, frankly, the Republicans will be a much more proactive, much more supportive.
So then what's the risk? You seem very...
But I think on the Democratic side, I want to give both sides. On the Democratic side, free trade, international relations, I think I feel much more comfortable about those.
So Bob, you must not think she's going to, well, I guess she's not banning fracking anymore. She's not going to privatize health insurance. She's not going to privatize the oil and gas industry. She's not going to do well, you don't care about a mandatory gun buyback. I don't know whether that would bother you. How about stacking the Supreme Court?
I think it's a difficult choice.
How about ending the filibuster?
On the balance, but Joe, you don't...
How about ending the filibuster?
You don't necessarily acknowledge either that from the inauguration, just over, 4 years ago, the S&P's up 75%.
I acknowledge that. Trump had a great run too with the start until.
But listen, we're all facing a difficult choice here, and I think that's why this is a finely balanced election.
She was far left of Biden on at least previously on at least decriminalizing illegal crossings. I mean, giving health insurance to all illegals. You've seen the list, so you're able to ignore that.
Well,
but you're questioning why Trump voters are able to ignore the tariffs.
No, I think it's different than that. I think on balance, I've chosen to vote for the Democratic candidate based on a balance. But I think that there's advantages and disadvantages on both sides.
She may be the most progressive candidate that's ever run for president. And you said you're a lifelong Republican.
I am.
Bob, are you going to split your ticket, your vote then, and vote down ballot Republican to try and offset it, or what do you?
Well,
how do you handle that?
For sure, for presidential candidates until the first Trump administration, I had always voted Republican, and I did vote Democrat in that election. That didn't mean I changed from all of the candidates, and I try and take a more balanced view. I would say I lean very much, not very much, but I lean Republican for any of the elections besides.
You voted for Hillary the first time.
I did.
Wow. Okay.
Tough choice. Again, we haven't had a lot of great choices coming up in the last.
I know, in a country of 300 million people, because no one wants to do it. No one normal wants to go into that business.
That's what we face. We could have better candidates.
Okay.